Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope that you are having a fabulous day today. My name is Sarita Laws-Frumau. I am a performance and mindset coach with the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I have been mentored by the late Bob Proctor, who passed away earlier this year. I am going through the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, this is a classic. It's sold over 15 million copies worldwide. And Napoleon Hill in this book interviewed over 500 men who were successful, who were very, very successful during the time of the Great Depression in the 1930s. Now, why am I going through this book? Other than those fabulous reasons, is that my mentor, Bob Proctor, he used this book to change his life. He was unhappy, he wasn't healthy, and he was broke. At the time of reading this book, he was earning 4,000 Canadian dollars and he owed 6,000. After applying the principles in this book, he was able to raise his income to 175,000 per year. That's what we call a quantum leap, quantum effect. It is possible for every single one of us to apply these principles in this book and get the achievement and the success that we want. Now, we all want different things and we're all programmed differently. The key thing to take away from this book is the application. So we must apply the things in it. And it is not easy. Persistence is required. Faith, which was what we discussed in the last video, and a lot of other wonderful attributes. However, the rewards, they're worth it. I mean, when you're going through the process, of course, it doesn't seem as if it's worth it. But when we get to the end of the thing that we want, of the thing that we're desiring, it will be worth it. So let's begin. We're at chapter 4. And actually one of my favorite chapters. I really love this chapter because I got the assignment from Bob to actually read this chapter and rehearse it to myself. So I actually did it on my phone. What I did, I read the chapter. I can share it with you, just the part so you can see. I recorded myself reading the chapter very largely upon your capacity to concentrate upon a given desire until that desire becomes a burning obsession. So, just flip to, that's like the mid part of me recording the chapter. So that's something that you can do as well. So I read the book and I recorded myself reading the book, and I would listen to it every night and every morning. And it's actually one of the instructions that was given by Napoleon Hill. And I did this for several months so that I would convince myself of the power of autosuggestion. I think it's a fun activity to do. And if you want to go ahead and try it, do try it for yourself and see what the results are. Okay, so let's get into it. Autosuggestion, what is it? And how does Napoleon Hill describe it, and what is its importance, and what are the principles from this chapter? I would like to mention to you that this is chapter 4. So we're at chapter 4. And it's the third step towards riches. He starts out by saying that autosuggestion is the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. So 3 points that he mentions, like we normally do, we go into the 3 points and we go into the 3 principles that stands out in this chapter. So first, the 3 points is 1. This is the third step towards riches. Napoleon says that autosuggestion, he described it as self-administrated stimuli to reach your mind through the five senses. He also goes on to state, the third point is that it's the dominating thoughts of your mind which you manifest. So whether it's negative or positive, and we spoke about this also in the chapter on faith. So which is why it is good to use the principle of autosuggestion to convince yourself of something. I also went ahead and looked up the definition on the internet. And one definition says, an influencing of one's own attitudes, behavior, or physical condition by mental process other than conscious thought. Another suggestion says it's the hypnotic or subconscious adoption of an idea which one has originated oneself. So basically, what it's saying is that the principle of autosuggestion is the repetition of a thought, of an idea that you repeatedly say to yourself. We spoke about this in the last chapter, how important it is to repeat positive thoughts, repeat the thoughts that are aligned with the things that we desire. So it's the repeated thoughts that we repeat to ourselves, that we convince ourselves that we are moving towards our desire, that we already have it, that we want it. And we do this because we're reprogramming the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the emotional mind. The subconscious mind is where all our programming is stored. This is where our beliefs are, and we have beliefs in the subconscious mind that we did not put there. We got it from our parents, from our communities, from our teachers. And so this is a time now, using the power of autosuggestion, that you can reprogram your subconscious mind with the things that are aligned with what you want. Okay, so those are the overarching points for this chapter. It's brilliant, okay? All right, so 3 principles from this chapter is, and I want to point this out to you because I think it's so key. As he starts the chapter, he reminds us to go to the 6 steps in chapter 2. Were you able to do it? Because it's, you know, these are the 6 steps that he says we should repeat aloud twice daily. And it is so that we can manifest a money desire. So if you haven't done so, look on the 6 steps. In my book, it's page 56. I'm not sure which page it is in your book, but it's the 2nd chapter. And that was the chapter that we did some time ago. It's the chapter on desire, which is the starting point for all achievement. Okay, so that's the first. We want to start using that to auto-suggest the amount of money that we need. And you plant in your mind the amount that you need. And what will happen is that you start thinking of ideas and ways to bring this into your existence. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is discipline and persistence. Now, if you remember in the previous chapters, we spoke about having an initial defeat. So when you start going after the thing that you want, you will face that initial defeat. It might look as if you are not anywhere close to achieving it, but because what you want is in the invisible state, we don't want to look at physical appearance. I know this might sound strange because we are taught to look at what is physical. But he's saying here, and I think if we look at things that we have manifested, we will know that what we are manifesting, because it's coming from the invisible side of us, we have to have faith, which is why this book really lines up, like each chapter builds on the other one. Okay, so faith And if you're a Bible reader, it tells you that faith is the absence of things not seen. It's the evidence of things that are coming to you, okay? So ignore the temporary defeat. Ignore if what you're seeing is not in alignment with what you want. You want to use the power also of visualization to focus your mind on what you want, which is why meditation is so good. Meditation is really good, having a vision board where you can always see the thing that you want. So you remind yourself, you fix your mind upon what you want and not what you don't want. Remember also in a previous chapter, we mentioned that in the ether, in the invisible side of us, of our universe, there are good and there are negative things. So there are positive, there are negatives. And what he's saying in this chapter, and what I was also taught by Bob, is that we want to focus on the positive. Because if there is negative and positive, try to focus on the positive. And even when things don't look the way how we want them to look, find something that will, so something I learned in NLP was to find something that will trigger your mind to switch to it. You can even put on your phone, you could set like a timer, like, okay, at 3 o'clock every day or at midday every day, I am going to have an alarm that reminds me to spend 5 minutes focusing on my goal, spend 5 minutes just closing my eyes and relaxing and thinking about what I want, just to remind myself throughout the day, because we do face different things that pulls us off our game. So we really want to do this and have fun with it. You know, have fun with the power of manifestation. You can do it, at least try. Why not? If it's to have it or not to have it, why not try to focus on having it? Okay, and then the third principle is the principle of concentration. So he says that you're not supposed to trust your reasoning, okay? Your reasoning is faulty. Moreover, your reasoning faculty may be lazy. And why is it lazy? Because we probably haven't been using it most of our lives. We have been told what to think. You know, we have not been taught how to think and how to really learn and apply things. We go through school, we focus on a particular part, it's by rote, right? You read, you repeat, you get a grade, and you move on to the next, the next level. Then I was about to say the next grade, but I think level is better. So you're in one class, you read something, you repeat it, you get a grade for it. You haven't really learned. And if you haven't seen that short that I did from Bob, where he explains what learning is, do check it out. So it is important for us, as we are going through this book, to be mindful that if there is some resistance to it, it's because we haven't done it this way. And if how you've been living your life is not the way that you want to live, you're not achieving what you want, then maybe it's time. I definitely think it's time that you do something different. Okay, and he reminds us that faith is the strongest and most productive of the emotions. I love this quote where he says, I'm the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Okay, so to summarize this chapter. Oh, and there aren't any stories in this chapter. The story is yours. And that's why I've been speaking so much directly to you, because the story is yours. You know, as you go through it, he says, have the faith of a child. Just be open. Open-mindedness will bring a lot more success than a closed-minded person, because a closed-minded person will say, yes, I know it. yet they're not demonstrating what they know, or they're not achieving what they want out of life. So be open-minded and allow yourself to experience new things and to try new things. All right, so summary: do not trust your reason. Be like a child, be playful, be open-minded. Don't focus on what you see and think that that's it. Remember that in temporary defeat, or the thing that you want might be disguised. So what looks like defeat could be a disguise of an opportunity. So you want to remain open-minded. And the second part of our summary today, actually, I want to bring your attention to page 111. And these are on page 111 in my book. It's instructions with 6 steps. And it's blended with the principles covered in this chapter. And he says, go somewhere quiet. And you're going to repeat aloud your written statement. Now, what is your written statement? The written statement is found on 1112, where you start by saying, by this date, I will have in my possession this amount, and it will come to me in various times. And so you write it out and you choose the day. Is it 3 months from now? Is it 6 months from now? How much is it that you want? So look at that. And that's what I want to summarize this chapter. And the final thing that I want to say is the importance of faith. Faith is the strongest and most productive of the emotions. He says, many may become the master of it. Man may become the master of himself and his environment because he has the power to influence his own subconscious mind, and through it gain the cooperation of infinite intelligence. That's on the second to last page. And we said that the subconscious mind, we use faith to influence the subconscious mind. That was our last video. And the very last sentence that he says is to follow the instructions to the letter, because it will open for you a complete understanding and the mastery of the principles of success. Brilliant chapter, once again. I will place in the comment section the notes for this chapter, and again remind you to apply what we are reading. Okay, so that's it for me today. I will catch you in my next video. I appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for stopping by.